Here is my audience. Alrighty. Hello, my name is Alyssa, and today I'm going to be discussing driving while impaired. So what is driving while impaired? The actual definition of driving while impaired is driving under the influence of alcohol or any other substances like drugs or prescription medications. Any sort of influence that could affect your driving is considered driving while impaired. DWI is not the same as a DUI. They're similar but not the same. A DWI could be alcohol, drugs, distractions, or even drowsiness, while a DUI is just alcohol or the influence of drugs. Alright, the first subcategory I'm going to go through is driving while drunk. Of all traffic fatalities, almost 1/3 of them are from drunk drivers alone. Casseray from AARP in 2019 put out a statement saying that older people are more at risk of the effects of alcohol. The older we get, the ability to break down alcohol decreases. So basically just what this means is that as you get older, your body takes longer to metabolize alcohol, so you'll stay drunk longer. Impairment begins at an alcohol level of 0.1%. While the legal driving limit is 0.8%, it's still better to not have any alcohol in your system rather than testing it at the 0.8. Impairment affects concentration, judgment, focus, reflexes, and vision. The most common drunk drivers are ages 21 to 24, and men are more at risk of a DWI than women are. For every woman that has a DWI, there are 4 men that have one. The second subcategory that I'm going to go through is driving on a substance. I Drive Safely in 2020 put out a statement saying marijuana users are twice as likely to be involved in a fatal car crash than people with no indicated marijuana use. So basically just what this means is that if you are driving while you're high, you're twice as likely than a sober person to get into some sort of accident. An estimate of about 12 million people in 2018 admitted to driving while high. We see this number only increase since it's become legalized. Many common prescription drugs like pain relievers, anti-seizure medications, antidepressants, and even cold medications that have antihistamines in them can affect driving. It's just better to be completely sober and not on anything when you're behind the wheel of a vehicle. It's just safer that way for everybody. 1/5 of drivers that are charged with the DWI normally have an opioid in their system. Driving while distracted is my third subcategory. The NHTSA in 2021 put out a statement saying that distracted drivers claimed 3,142 lives alone in 2019. So this isn't any alcohol influence or any drug substance. It is completely just distracted driving that took all these lives. Distracted driving includes texting, calling, eating or drinking, playing with the stereo or anything else that could potentially distract you from the road and take your eyes off the road. The CDC in 2020 put out a statement saying 25% of the distracted drivers involved in fatal crashes were young adults ages 20 to 29. Also, teenagers 15 to 19 are more likely to be at risk of distracted driving than any other ages. So primarily young people are more at risk of distracted driving than older people. Prevention for drunk and substance driving. So if you are with anybody who has been drinking or doing any sort of drugs, do not let them drive on their own. Try to call an Uber, a Lyft, a taxi, or anything, but do not let them get behind the wheel of a car on their own. Do not get into a vehicle with somebody who has been drinking, smoking, or on medications that could hinder their driving. Obviously, if you see somebody who's impaired, you don't want to get into a vehicle with them. Again, call a taxi, an Uber, or a Lyft. If you yourself have been drinking or doing drugs or on any certain medications, then also call an Uber, Lyft, or taxi. You yourself don't want to get behind the wheel of a vehicle if you are on something. Also, educate yourself and friends on the signs of those who are drunk and or under a substance. Sometimes you don't actually see them actively involving in the activity, but if you can see the signs, you can stop them before they do something that they'll regret. Prevention for distracted driving. Considering that the largest population of distracted drivers is teenagers, the best prevention is education, letting them know the statistics, letting them know why it's dangerous to try to drive distracted. Leading by example from parents, older siblings, and even friends can also help prevent distracted driving. If they see you doing it, they're more likely to do it. So if they see you trying to drive while distracted, they're more likely to do the same thing. If they see you not driving distracted, they're more likely to do that as well. Speak out if you're in a vehicle with somebody who is driving distracted. So if you see somebody trying to drive distracted, try to get them to not drive distracted. You don't have to be rude about it, but maybe volunteer to take whatever is on their hands off so that way they can concentrate better on the road. So reduce distractions if you're a passenger, like helping reply to emergent messages or navigating for them. So if they're trying to reply to somebody, volunteer to reply for them, and if they're trying to navigate, offer to navigate for them. There are also certain apps that will keep your notifications off while driving, so you won't see the notification pop up, so you'll be less likely to want to check it. And there are also apps that will respond to people who are trying to talk to you, and let them know that you can reply to them once you reach your destination rather than while they're trying to drive. Just a little overview of what I've talked about today. Drunk driving, driving while on a substance, and distracted driving are all illegal and very dangerous in any moderation. There's no amount of substance, there's no amount of alcohol, and there's no amount of distracted driving that is safe. It's just better to be completely distraction free and completely sober while you're behind the wheel of a car. Prevention is the key to saving lives and keeping the roads as safe as possible. You can't really do much about other people, but you can control what you do yourself. Never be afraid to speak up if you see somebody attempting to drive impaired. Do what's right. Try to help the situation as much as you can. And here's my Works Cited page. And thank you for listening to my speech today.